Hey guys, it's Maz here. Yes, again with another Hearthstone. Here's a Warcraft video. This is on basic deck builds for the Warlock, or I should say deck build. This is my basic deck build that I use, that I've had some pretty good success with. Like a lot of Warlock decks, this one is in fact partially a Murloc deck as well. So I'll tell you that right off the bat. This is all about flooding the board with a bunch of Murlocs, and then finishing strong with some other cards and the Dread Infernals that everybody hates. The first card here at the top is the Sacrificial Pact. Destroy a demon, restore 5 health to your hero. I usually use this, well, in this deck I don't have much of a choice, but I usually use this with the Voidwalker since it doesn't have high stats. If you play this early in the game, when they're about to take it out, I use the Sacrificial Pact, gain that extra 5 health. Down here, Soulfire, deal 4 damage, discard a random card. Now, chances are unlikely that you're going to have all of your cards in your hand used and you use that, so probably going to have to discard a card. And it would suck for it to be one of these bigger cards at the end. So that one, I'm not necessarily a big fan of Soulfire because I don't like to take those kind of chances of losing a big card that I have. But sometimes it's necessary and you got to take that minion off the board right off the bat. So that's why you have that in the deck. Below that is Corruption. Pretty self-explanatory. You choose an enemy minion, you destroy it at the start of your next turn. Take out a big minion off the board. You'll eat the damage for 1 turn, but then you don't have to worry about that minion anymore. The one under that, Mortal Coil. Deal 1 damage to a minion. If it kills the minion, you get to draw a card. Basic draw card. Use that early in the game, get the extra draw, or give it that extra damage to take out a minion that you normally wouldn't have had by yourself. Grimscale Oracle, one of the more valuable Murlocs here. He gives all other Murlocs 1 attack. The issue with that is if your opponent's also playing a Murloc deck, it might not go in your favor. Murloc Raider here, basic Murloc, 2-1, nothing special, but with that Oracle, gets an extra. These are all about flooding the board. You get to play multiple cards early in the game. In turn 2 you get to play 2 of these in conjunction. Turn 3 you can play three cards in conjunction. Voidwalker can protect them, etc. Speaking of Voidwalker, has taunt, not the best stats, but cheap cost, so you can play other cards with that in the same turn. Bluegill Warrior here, it is a Murloc, it does have charge, so that compared with these cards in turn 4, if you have these 3 in your hand, you do some serious damage right off of the bat. Murloc Tidehunter is a great card as well. You get to summon a Murloc Scout with 1/1. Definitely helps you flood the board a little bit. Drain Life here, you could take out some of their easier minions right off of the bat, deal 2 damage, and you get 2 health to your hero. With that said, also, I don't really like to use the Warlock's power. I don't like to use the Warlock's power because I don't like to lose the 2 health. I think the 2 health is a little too valuable, so I try to stay away from using that. Down here I have Shadow Bolt. Shadow Bolt deals 4 damage to a minion. Pretty self-explanatory. You can take out a pretty decent minion with that. Then you have Hellfire that deals 3 damage to all characters. Now, with that said, it says all characters, so you have to bear in mind that this will probably wipe out all these little guys that you have on the board, so I try not to use that in the early game. I use it late game if they're starting to come back and flood the board with some of their minions. Ogre Magi here gives you extra spell damage for that Shadow Bolt or the Drain Life, the Hellfire, Mortal Coil even, and even Soulfire up here at the top. Sinjin, that basic vanilla card that I use in a lot of decks, has the taunt, keeps them off of your other minions, and it keeps them off of your character. Dread Infernal is one of those cards that I start playing late in the game when they start playing some bigger minions, or even if they're flooding the board with small minions, you can throw that out there and wipe a bunch of them out with that extra damage to all characters. And then down here you have the War Golem. Very vanilla, but it's something that's a formidable opponent when you do pull that out and put it on the board. But as always, I'm always open to comments. I know I'm not the best deck builder on YouTube or in the world, so I'm definitely open to your comments, and if you feel that there's another card that would be better suited in this deck, let me know. I want to hear about it. But thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you check out my other videos.